If at any point during the meeting, Neil, you can't hear us or one of us, let us know. Okay. Here you go, Bob.
Good evening, everybody. We'll call this meeting to order of the Buckfield Select Board for Tuesday, February 17th at 6:32 p.m. And we do have a quorum. Consent agenda.
I'll make a motion. We approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. Further discussion. Nothing. All right. All those in favor? Bob, aye.
Delia, aye.
All right. And the total on that's $83,839.89. Approval of the minutes from the January 20th, 2026 Select Board meeting.
Peter did point out at the beginning, before the meeting, that for some reason it didn't pull up who was there, but all five of you plus me were there. I can update that. I don't know why it's not on that one. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the January 20th, 2026 Select Board meeting.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All those in favor? All right. February 3rd. Can we do that one? Were we three here?
Yes, we were.
We were?
Yes, we're here.
So
All right. Approval of the minutes for the February 3rd, 2026 Select Board meeting.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor? All right. Old business. Not much. Okay. New business. American Legion Veterans Memorial Stone.
More of a discussion item if you guys want to have a motion after, you can. So the commander, Jim Lowell, has been talking about placing a and that's where they do their ceremony every Memorial Day. And they've gone around, I think they're asking businesses if they can help with donations, but they had asked if the town could help with any as well. I did pull aside, I pulled some figures, like we've got our it's coming, Parks and Recreation Reserve, which we usually take money from that for flowers at some of the grave sites, or, you know, anytime we do any of that stuff. And we also have the Constant Cold Beautification Fund, which is for the improvement and beautification of the town. I don't know if that plays in there. I mean, it makes that spot look a little better, but if you were to set aside a little bit of money for it, those would be one of those two. Reserve currently has 14,000. The Constant Cold Beautification Fund was originally 10,000. It's still got 13,000. And it says it's in the sole and uncontrolled discretion of the selectmen of the town of Buckfield. So it's not tied to just interest. And there's roughly 13,000 in that one. Do we know how much they're looking for, or what the total cost is going to be? Melissa dropped it off. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, Melissa. I didn't have a chance to sit down and talk to Jim about it. I was hoping he might pop in tonight, but she said she can't recall right off the top of her head. The total project. So I told him I would bring it to the selectmen and let them discuss it.
Yeah, I think I'd be interested to know more about it. I'm also curious, I don't know, seems I would like to know more about other fundraising avenues they're exploring too. Or are we like the first one they're reaching out to? That's the thing. Yeah. This is
this year, so plug it all the time.
okay. So something we can follow up on probably like next meeting.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Preliminary 26-27 budget discussion.
So as all of you know, my budget process was to start with the budget committee in February, which we met February. Budget in one night. What I want to get, I provided you guys the budget as I proposed it, as well as with their changes. I don't plan on talking about this in depth until the next meeting, but to give you kind of a 30,000-foot view of what we were looking at, my original budget that I had proposed came in at a 2.5% or 2.54% increase over last year. However, revenues for local and state were up a total of 10.75, which resulted in a municipal increase of negative 4.21. So that's what, or sorry, that's actually your budget. I don't have my copy. So that's what the budget committee ended up at. I apologize for that.
All good.
I think I have it. Did I include it in your packet with the right numbers?
No, it's on the backside. Yours is.
Must have overwrote mine. So my original budget was a 2.05% increase. Revenues were still 10.75 for an overall net increase of -5. So we would have been down municipal wise negative 5.09. The two things that the budget committee had or recommended, I had failed to put in the $4,500 to $5,000 for the sand tarp. We caught that one when we were going through it. And then there was concern over the aging fleet of vehicles in public works. So they had recommended adding an additional $10,000 to the maintenance line where we're not asking for a new truck.
Yeah.
So that's was a total of $15,000. That's what they recommended. We increased the budget by. So on the copy of the budget that I sent you, you can see mine, theirs. There's actually two columns of mine because the manager and the initial are the same. And then once we go through it, and if you make any changes or adjustments, I'll enter that in so everything could be side by side. But my plan is next meeting to start going through the process like we normally do. Go through departments, talk about increases, decreases. I just wanted to give you time to look at it before you show up at a meeting and have to kind of dig into it. I know Azalea watched it on Facebook. So she's already been through it once, but she couldn't hear me for 10 minutes. So with that, county did finalize their mill rate. Their mill rate went down this year. So we're actually looking at a decrease in county taxes. So that's a positive. School's still up in the air. They just had a preliminary talk at their last school board meeting. Their EPS for their subsidy, they're getting close to $600,000 more, but increases in health insurance and stuff is like estimated to be close to 800,000, and that doesn't take into account any of contractual increases that are coming. So I know it'll be an increase. I just don't know what that'll look like until they start talking about it. So I put 5% in my budget just as so you could see an overall, that would be ideal. If this went through as is with the budget committee's recommendations, the county and the school at 5%, we'd be looking at a slight decrease in the mill rate. That's my estimate. Don't hold me to that, but.
Right. When does the school usually?
So they start hammering it out now. They'll have a few meetings where they'll discuss it. They'll make their recommendations, and then they have their annual budget meeting in May.
Yeah.
A little more than 30 days before our election. I think it's the first Tuesday.
Yeah.
Um,
We still may end up with an estimate on the ballot.
yeah, we have no real, we got no idea until it's set in stone, which really doesn't get set in stone until you get to that meeting and find out what the voters set. If they agree with whatever they say, then we'll have an earlier idea. But if anything changes, it changes slightly. So, I mean, ideally, I think everybody in this town would like to see the mill rate go down. But you know, if it could stay where it's at, that would be at least a year of relief of not having to worry about a big hike.
Yeah.
So County, which is our three Nizinskit schools, their values went up double digits. Buckfield was the least as far as the increase, but we've also been the highest over the last few years.
Yeah.
So Hartford jumped up like 19. Buckfield was like 12. I think what is going to adjust our cost, our share. That may adjust what our share of the costs are a little bit more than. We'll see. Pupil counts down. The state did adjust the mill rate, so it's like not as much per thousand, but it's still a lot. So we'll see. I'll try to stay privy to it and update things as I can, but it sounds to me like the superintendent's not going to share the appropriation sheet until they've finished doing their cuts. Because as you remember last year, they came out with one and they were talking like 19% increases and stuff. And I think they're trying to avoid people freaking out, but it also helps the towns kind of figure out like, what are we looking at?
Right.
So.
Yeah, we need to know as soon as possible. That's for planning.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
Fingers crossed.
Appreciate all the work you've done on this with yourself and the budget committee.
Absolutely.
Now, process question. So we're going to look at it. Do we have an opportunity to send it back to you and the budget committee?
Well, my perception from the budget committee is they're pretty active and willing. Like if they have to meet up to rediscuss something, I'm pretty. I don't want to speak for them, but
we would meet again.
I kind of got the feeling that they would meet again. The one thing they did vote on, which I don't have they voted on my proposed state revenues, but I don't have the actual municipal revenue sharing projections out yet.
Yep.
Once those come out, if they're higher than what I proposed, they had in their motion, they said to accept the higher amount.
Yeah.
Just to avoid having to have a meeting to accept higher revenues. But if something came in where something was missed or something needs to be added or select board wants their input, it seemed to me like they were willing to meet again.
Thank you. Yeah. We appreciate
Anything you'd like to add?
So we went through it and we thought that the budget was pretty spot on. There wasn't any place where it went down. There were good explanations for it. We did question Cam as to, is it a workable budget?
Yeah.
And that's pretty good reassurance he gets it is. So it isn't like, because we did tell him, you don't want to have to come back or the town to come back and ask for more money.
Yeah.
So it is we feel it's a workable budget. Cam mentioned there were 2 line items we added to. But other than that, we thought it was pretty good. It was pretty clean. That was pretty good for the taxpayers. That's the big thing right there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Don't want to add any extra burden right now. It's kind of tough for a lot of folks.
100%. Did we receive any input from like the road committee on budget wise?
So we didn't meet specifically budget wise on what it was. They did meet and made their recommendations for the next 3 or 4 years as far as road projects. So I knew what we were looking at and I based my projection on for paving off of what their recommendation was, which was to finish that stretch of Brock School Road to Allen School Road. Smaller sections of road that have like bad sections, but it's not like a long stretch that needs to be taken care of, like North Buckfield Road, that one little corner like that. That we want to look at taking care of. So they wanted to finish this one project because they've gone through and kind of stuck to walk away as they've got a mile and a half left to go. So I based that off of what we got for bids last year, and I added a little bit of a buffer in there just in case, knowing where last year came in, and I feel comfortable that we're going to be in that ballpark.
Right.
Paving's been pretty steady. It hasn't gone like it did in the past. So.
All right. Thank you. Pending 23-24 property tax foreclosures.
So I provided you guys a second packet. You don't need to take action on this, but that packet right there with the color on the front, we did have a warrant article. As you know, they made a bunch of changes to property tax foreclosure and the process you have to go through. And in some instances, the end result, if we foreclose on some of these properties, is it's going to be a big expense. Article 28, I believe, asked the voters if you found a property that didn't make sense, you could authorize the treasurer to waive foreclosure. It doesn't waive the lien. The lien is still there, so it's still due, but it prevents you from having to go through that process of listing it with a broker, selling it, accumulating all those fees, and then once everything's all said and done, having to eat the difference. If that makes sense. So I basically gave you a copy of each property card. The 3 on the bottom are already tax acquired. Those 3, 2 of them have already received 90-day notices, and I have not seen them in several months. So I'm probably going to be reaching out to the realtor about moving forward with those. The other one, the gentleman is deceased. I haven't been able to get a hold of any heirs or anything. It's a tiny lot somewhere up on Streakid. So that one's been foreclosed for a while. To sell 0.4 acres, it's not even a buildable lot, and we own, and I think they owe like $5,000 in taxes on it. That's perfect example of what
Right. Yeah, you don't want to tie anything up with that. Is there any abutters that?
One abutter is on the foreclosure list up above. And then the other abutter is the town clerk. But I mean, they really don't have a use for it.
Right.
So that one's kind of just been up in limbo for the last few years. But 2 of those are basically, they're going to automatically foreclose again, even though we already own it, but we still file the paperwork, for. Those are the ones that they're not active, but they're set. Certified mail. Some of them I've seen, they've come in and talked. But I just figured I'd give you 2 weeks to look it over and see if there's anything that sticks out, because that's the other 20-something 90-day letters. The way this is going to work is after the foreclosure happens, I will draft up the 90-day letters and just send them out automatically. Whether people are making payments or not, I'll send them just because that's a requirement. And then once it's done, if somebody's making payments, they stop making payments, they've already received notice. But I anticipate many of those will be paid before the end, but just in case.
Yep.
Next meeting's the last meeting to take any action before they foreclose.
Right. We don't want to be in the real estate business for sure.
No.
No. All right. Thank you. Select board comments.
I totally changed your agenda. Like, I didn't even give you.
Yeah, does either of you have any? I'll bite, if you don't mind, because the Swap Shop ad hoc committee has been meeting with some regularity. We just recently some of the writing prompts for the Maine Community Foundation. So thank you, Mark, Jen. Just under 2 hours. We had a regular meeting after that just to kind of formalize and express the committees, primarily looking at like a, like 20 by 30, 30 by 30, depending on our restrictions. We're in touch with the Maine DEP regarding our old site plan to see what is even allowed in that space that we're looking at. But we kind of formalized our game plan, I suppose, and make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Yeah, the application goes in tonight at midnight. Everyone will be pooled up, and then we will find out by, I believe, June 1st if we get that grant.
Sumner did reach out and ask if you were going to give an update on the swap shop, and I told him yes.
Absolutely.
I didn't think I was speaking out of tune.
Yeah, I can compile all the minutes we've had so far, so you can get those off to them.
And I did forward the ones that we have received. I have forwarded them
Yeah.
on just so that they're.
It's kind of a tough spot over there to find a.
Yeah, for sure. So we're seeing how far back the DEP will let us. We're looking at basically the space in between the existing shop and where the brush pile is. Hoping to kind of have the parking situated more where the current shop is, so it's not blocking the brush pile. And yeah, just a functional space, hopefully flush with the ground, one garage door, multiple exits, that sort of thing. Very basic, just something to make the space a little more functional at a fair cost.
One of the things that I was thinking about recently as they were having their meetings was the brush pile in its current spot requires us to test the soil level and make sure that it's got so many inches of gravel on top of it every year. Whereas if there was right now there's a lot of gap in between the bins over on the other side. And if we could put the brush pile somewhere else, and then it'd be on concrete, we wouldn't have to deal with that. I think originally it was over there because they used to burn it, but it's kind of a headache having it there that close to the old landfill and with the requirements of making sure that we're not, because every time we grab brush from it or plow it, we're moving material. But I was just
and that site plan hadn't been updated since like what, 9
I reached out to the DEP and I got a copy of the last site plan on record. It was 1995.
Yeah, so it'll be an ongoing conversation with them.
I did reach out to APCOG too about potential for updating it. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So we can get a more current one on file.
For sure.
Oh, I'll let you guys keep going before I drop that ball on you guys.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, yeah.
Well, that wraps it up for me, I believe.
Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I went to the VHS separation committee meeting Thursday. Yeah, I had to leave a little early because there was a call. But we did meet with the attorney, and she seemed very optimistic. She asked for what is it, 10,000 from each town and she's going to invoice us on that.
Yeah, the committee had originally requested 3 separate bills for the 3 towns, and internally how they do it. So what they requested was a retainer from each town and 10,000. And then at the end, if there's any left over or whatever, they'll just refund it back to us, but they'll bill away at that. And then the treasurers from each town will keep track of what's going on. So it made sense instead of having to write out individual payments each time.
And that draws from the warrant article we passed earlier, the 50,000, correct?
Yeah. So I got to get with Michelle. She has a copy of that because she's the chair and I haven't seen it yet. So I haven't drafted a retainer for that or put it in a warrant yet until I have a signed copy and
Yep.
can include that as an invoice.
But she was very positive. It was very nice to see we were headed in the direction that we should be, and she gave us some advice. It was a very positive meeting, I think, for as much as I was there.
Mhm.
She seemed optimistic or she seemed excited with the fact that our schools are pretty much our schools. Like there's nobody from the Rumford area coming to our school versus, you know what I mean? There's not, usually when these things happen, they're trying to work through tuition agreements and who's going to go to what school, but we're kind of our own school.
Mhm.
It,
Yep.
It sounded like it was more like, well, that's going to be easy.
Yeah, our own bus garage.
Right. We got our own
Buses
bus
are
garage.
here.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm sure compared to some of the stuff she deals with, where
I mean, Kingfield's going through it right now,
Mhm.
Several towns are interested, I guess.
but they're having to go through like tuition agreements where their high school students going to go, or, you know,
Yeah.
so there's a lot more stuff in those ones than there will be here,
Mhm.
which is good because it kind of takes some of the complexities away from it. But she had good answers. She seemed to know what she was doing. She's been through this before.
Yep.
And then I think she took some of the stress off of the committee's backs on budgeting stuff too, because she was like, well, we go through and do this first before we go do this. And I think some of them were kind of like, okay, we have a vision and we have a sight of what we're supposed to be doing instead of trying to like chase their tails on where are we supposed to be right now. There's projects they're still working on. I mean, they're still working on some of the budgeting stuff, and inventory, I think, was one of the big things.
Yep.
Getting an inventory of what we have down here so it doesn't get swapped out.
So if a citizen has like a question for her, how is she accessible to them? Would it be, would the board or the committee be able to compile public comment just to make efficient use of her time? I'm sure she's
I'd say
happy.
forward everything to the BHS email.
Yeah.
And then Nick does he's the liaison for the attorney, so he's the one that's communicating with her, so she doesn't get bombarded by 12 members.
Yeah.
Right. And I know it said,
What is that email? I can't remember. I
I
think
need
it's
to look it up.
I think
It's on her website, I think.
Okay.
BHS withdrawal committee@gmail.com.
I bet Neil knows.
Oh, he's not here anymore. He fell off.
Darn it.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Not a short one.
I'm wondering if I
Yeah,
put it
yeah.
on the email. I mean, on the website. If not, I need to.
Yeah, that would be good to get up. I don't see it immediately, but it might just be for me skimming.
I'll get it updated on the website so it's there.
Great.
So people can find it.
Yeah. Any other selectmen comment? No? No? Public comment?
So Glenn reached out to me yesterday,
Yeah.
and it looks like the tipping fees next year will be $88 a ton, which is $18 higher than
He was thinking 74,
he
right?
was thinking 70,
Mm.
which is what I had budgeted. So there's about an $18,000 discrepancy there.
At least we know now.
Right. So when we get to that point, where you guys are discussing the budget, it may make sense to put that $18,000 in there. And if you guys want to meet again to discuss that, I just found out yesterday. So.
Yeah, it is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Not discretionary.
No,
Right.
Mhm.
no.
So the original increase was we're paying $54 a ton. He said anticipate $70 a ton. So I went right to the 70. And then I guess what they landed on was 88. So it's roughly 1,000 tons.
Yeah.
Roughly $18,000.
Yep.
Got to get rid of the trash.
Yes, we do.
Another motivator to bring the swap shop back.
Mhm.
And recycle your cardboard.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have to admit, I noticed, especially this past weekend when I was taking my stuff over, there's an awful lot less stuff in some of those things, I think, since we've implemented the age and all that kind of stuff.
Mattresses have really started to, and I haven't seen them lying all over the side of the road.
Yeah. I was gonna say, we should be sure to like really compile a list of situations where we do see that sort of thing. But
But we also haven't gotten to the spring cleaning aspect
Yeah.
of stuff
Yeah.
either. So a lot of people hold on to their stuff for about April, and then you'll start seeing those bits. So
Mhm.
April will be the test of what we're looking at, April,
Yeah.
May.
But I mean, my limited time there, I haven't seen like the large trailers
Mhm.
there. I mean, I'm sure they're still there, but
It's not as
it
frequent.
seems like every time I went there, there was one there.
Mhm.
So
I'm sure we'll kind of dive into this more at the upcoming solid waste meeting. But how are like the attendants feeling about the changes? Is it seem to be going smoothly? Any room for improvement? Should we solicit some feedback from them?
I mean, for the most part, it's been positive. Stanley does a really good job. I mean, he can't be everywhere at once, so is he
Right.
missing some? I mean, I couldn't. I don't know how I could pull that guy into 18 more pieces to
Yeah,
be able to go catch
absolutely.
everything. But I mean, every week, Wednesday, so Thursday and Sunday, I get an email, and he is collecting fees. People are going into Sumner and they're paying fees, permits. We've made a lot of revenue back on the permit sales. Sumner has as well. Some people are old school, want to pay cash, so they come into the town office and get their tickets, but it's going as smoothly as it can. Aside from a volunteer every day going down there and checking stickers and manning the credit card machine, I don't think we could do it any better. I did propose an increase for those guys' wages though, because we're paying them like $16 an hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's in the budget as well.
Mhm.
The other thing is I gotta think, when those guys are gone, we gotta replace them.
you gotta hire somebody and people aren't gonna wanna do it. So
Just because they've been okay doing it for this long for that much money and we are asking more and more, making sure stuff's going the right places and making sure people aren't dumping stuff off that shouldn't be dumped off. So
I know we've had like some conversations, just looking into the future. Eventually, there will be a day that the town does have to hire someone new for that position. Top of mind for the solid waste committee meetings going forward and kind of exploring where it's only 2 days a week. Do we want to hope that someone's willing to part-time it? Do we want to make it kind of if we can, a hybrid role between public works and the dump? Just maybe spark another deeper conversation about that, maybe at one of the next 2 meetings that solid waste deals with.
we're gonna have to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard. I mean, even when I thought I was down a person, it was really hard trying to get people to apply for that job.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was 2 days a week or if it was the pay, but my guess is it's
combination of
both.
both, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's mostly retired people. And then with the compactors, you really can't have teenagers in there. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, definitely worth a deeper conversation because I want to respect someone who does that job, and pay them a fair wage. So something that I'm willing to explore if that's a cost we have to look at.
that was all I had.
Anyone have anything else? No? All right, so I'll make a motion that we adjourn at 7:05 PM.
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Night, everybody.
We never mentioned that was on holding the executive session.
They probably, well, we're still recording, so
Oh,
there's no executive session. They're tabling that till the next meeting.
my apologies. Yes.